What's happening on the covers of the dailies this morning. And of course, Mike is with us as well on this. We're going to be starting with the Nation newspaper this morning. The headline goes thus. It says here, subsidy cut, windfall, government saves 1.83 trillion naira in 2 months. Savings to be used for projects, no more borrowing, it says here. And Elumelu says government's bold decision in Nigerians' interest. The story starts there on the cover and wraps up on page 2. There is a photo story there of the present Minister of Works and Housing, Senator David Umahi, on an inspection as at yesterday of the federal bridges in Lagos yesterday. And we did see a little bit of that during the news story also. During the news bulletin. Just beneath the masthead there, it says Chief Justice of Nigeria earns more than VP. Senate President says RMAFC. NBA proposes 200% pay rise for jurists. Stock market hits highest level. Investors' return rises to 8.3 trillion naira. Story starts there on the cover and wraps up on page 3. Governors lead APC battles in Imo, Kogi, Bayelsa. And expect heavy rains in Ondo, Ogun, Oshun, 26 others, according to NIMET alerts. All right.
Yeah, something that you mentioned the stuff of Lagos is 5th best African city to live and work in. It's a report. I don't know. You'd have to check up on page 28 to find out who put that report. But yeah, of course, the major headline, the subsidy cut windfall, the savings. I like the part where I think we're starting with not borrowing. That's a very good thing because who's going to pay these debts that we have piled up for so long? At least if we first way is to stop it, then what do we do with these savings? That is the most important thing. That is the question that's being put out. We are on a path towards recovery, as it were. Hopefully, it goes according to plans or whatever, detours or mishaps, as it were, along the road are things that we can overcome. We need to get the economy back and functional as soon as possible.
And it kind of feels like this is the most transparent we've been as a nation in terms of actually having conversations about where this money should go and what are the priorities. There's so many. There's a long list of priorities, to be honest. Which comes first is still in question. So that's what we have on the cover of The Nation. Let's see what we have on the cover of The Guardian newspaper. It says here, CBN BDCs on collision course as FX black market premium widens. Page 6 has more on that. It also shows a photo story there. Naira loses 41% value as premium between dollar widens by 19%. And it shows clearly what it's like for other African countries as well. Of course, Nigeria and Sudan being right there at the top of that list, 40.7, minus 40.7. All right, we have also here private sector okays Tinubu's reform seeks input from in federal government's 8-point agenda. Federal government promises completion of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway by mid-September. And what else do we have here? Police disrupt gay marriage, arrest 67 guests in Delta State. On insecurity, Niger proposes amnesty to bandits.
So there was actually, people came together, and I feel it's a prank. They do just go, it's a prank video. Like, they actually came together in a country that has laws. It might not be optimal for you, but as it stands, we're living in a country where we have laws that punish such an offense. And you actually put together a wedding, you came together, how make it make sense? All of them should face the course of law, as it were, not because, like I said, it might not be optimal for you, but for the fact that it is law here. You can't do that. You can't.
There was some insinuations that it was a skit, that it was for a movie, that it was for a film. There was some,
It has to be. It has to be because where's the boldness? It has to be. Like I said, whatever your personal feelings about it, in this case, it does not matter. Why? Because it is law in Nigeria. You understand?
And
Maybe you
if
can
it
move
was
to somewhere
truly
else
an
where there's no law.
actual wedding, then if it was an actual wedding, yes, definitely.
Yeah, it has to be a
But
skit.
I feel like it was a skit, but we will
Yeah,
definitely.
on the punch, there's something I want to mention. A few
Yeah.
queues hit Lagos and others as thieves vandalized pipelines. This was yesterday. I was trying to get to fuel and all of that, and I found that a number of stations were shut down or were closed. Of course, there's been talk about the pump price, the official pump price increasing due to the fact, of course, the disparity between the FX rates, as it were, even though we have collapsed them into one particular rate, but of course there's still the black market, and it is not exactly the same as the official rate. So as it stands, but now the talk about is that marketers are blaming this fuel scarcity on pipeline vandalism. In fact, the marketers, or the annotation underneath that headline goes on to say that marketers halt petrol loading, blame vandals for disruption, and more filling stations shut as import hiccups hurt supply. Man.
This is a matter that the country has been dealing with for over a decade. The issue of vandalized pipelines, and I feel like there has to be something more that can be done to sort of circumvent and make sure that this doesn't happen as often as it is happening now. Now, the fact that there has been a halt loading petrol is also a big issue. What can be put in place to make sure that this vandalization is repaired quickly, and what are the cost implications of that? That's something to consider. The Cameroon dam opening is on the top left there. It says 700 billion naira CBN farmers loan under threat in flooded states, which also now goes to food security issues because we've already...
It will affect. It will affect. I was almost talking about how the food prices have increased, of course, due to transportation of goods and all of that. And then the, how do I put it now? It's not legal. The levies that they pay. I saw this video that went viral at one time online where somebody, he had over 20 receipts of dues that he had to pay. 20, almost 30, and even more of dues he had to pay at different stops along the road. And when he puts all this money together, who bears the brunt? He, of course, will bear some, but the end user, the consumer, that's why the yam will be expensive, even as much as it. But this one is major. In this kind of war now, there's nothing personal can do. I know that there's been discussions between the Cameroon government and all of that. We know that these things will happen. We have to preempt, and it's big, it's major. They cannot they cannot discomfort themselves. That's talking about Cameroon. They released the dam. There has to be that. The last year, there was that talk about how, they sent notification, and Nigerian government and NEMA said, no, they didn't receive notification, or it was supposed to be a week before, a week after, and all of that. But this time, it seems that they're on the same page. I don't know what the plan is. I have not yet said, but hopefully something is done, because like you said, farmlands are the first. These things, 26 states. Yeah. Most of these states are the states where we get most of our food.
Our produce, yes.
You know, Benue is the food basket of the nation. That state, as it stands, is very, very much at risk of flooding in this kind of scenario.
So it's actually, we mentioned earlier on that people can move from their houses, but you can't exactly uproot the produce that is already it's almost harvest season for a lot of different produce immediately after the rains have come and gone. So it is one of those situations that needs to be dealt with, and dealt with soon. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, I think that's it. We're wrapping up on the headlines in the dailies at this point, but we'd love to hear your thoughts on some of the stories. Use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC and let us know what you think. Let's take a quick stop right here in the kitchen.